Hey guys, this week's discussion is on confidentiality, and the scenario that we're given is Pastor Williams has a spiritual guidance session with parishioner Tom regarding Tom's failing marriage. The marriage is failing due to Tom's extramarital affair. Many of the church board members and their spouses joined Pastor Williams for dinner at a local restaurant that evening. Pastor Williams begins to share about Tom's affair and failed marriage. As a church board member, what are your thoughts on Pastor Williams disclosing this information? Has he broke confidentiality with Tom? What could Tom's recourse be if he discovers Pastor Williams shared this information that he shared in confidence? What would be your response to Pastor Williams at the dinner? Well, first, I would probably be a little bit appalled that Pastor Williams is sharing this information with people. When these spiritual guidance sessions are done, that gives a sense of privacy or confidentiality. That means that it was probably in the pastor's office with the door shut, which means it was to Tom's knowledge in confidentiality. Has he broken confidentiality with Tom? Obviously, I feel like he has. Because, like I said, Tom's under the impression that it's a confidential conversation. What could Tom's recourse be if he discovers Pastor Williams shared his information that he shared in confidence? Well, let's add to the scenario. Let's say one of the board members is really close personal friends with Tom's wife. Tom's wife doesn't know about this affair. So rather than give Tom the chance to confess to his wife and try and rectify their marriage, she goes and tells her out of her sense of duty, and they end up in a nasty, bitter divorce. Well, guess what? Pastor Williams could very well end up in court testifying about this because he broke the confidentiality, and now it's no longer in confidence. He made it public, so therefore now he is liable to testify. Tom could legally sue Pastor Williams for this breach of confidentiality. Now, this is where you would want to have insurance for such occasions for your board members and directors, but in any case, it sheds a bad light on your church, on your congregation, and more importantly, on your pastor. The pastor is supposed to be held to a different standard, a higher standard than congregation members. I know that's a little hard to swallow sometimes, but that's what Paul tells us, that we are to be held to a higher standard. Jesus even said that it would be better that a millstone be tied around our neck and cast into the sea than to mislead one of his little ones, to teach them wrong or to lead them in the wrong direction. And so therefore, there's a lot of weight on pastors' shoulders. So therefore, we're held to a higher standard. What would my response be to Pastor Williams at the dinner? I wouldn't say anything to him in front of everybody, but I would probably pull him to the side and basically try to gently let him know these things. Which, in all seriousness, if he's a pastor, he should know these things. We have a moral guideline to follow when we become a pastor, and actually, as a Christian, we have moral guidelines to follow. But besides that, even according to our course material, confidentiality in the church says, like any professional who must work within bounds set by professional ethics, the clergy person must determine the limits of his or her confidentiality obligations. It means you need to think about these things and consider them before you ever decide to have these talks with people. Assemblies of God article says, in recent years, however, people have brought an increased number of lawsuits against pastors for invasion of privacy and other tort claims arising out of the disclosure of confidential information by a pastor or other church official. The result of these suits has brought recognition that the obligation to maintain confidentiality is not only a moral obligation, but also often a legal one. I guess that would be determined by the prosecutor or the AG. for whatever state you live in. But it's something that, why would you take a chance on it? So that's my thoughts, guys. Have a blessed day.